Alright, hello again there, Star Wars The Clone Wars action figure collectors and fans and customizers. This is another Star Wars The Clone Wars custom figure review. This time I'm doing a review on my custom Commander Fil figure. First thing I'm going to talk about here is what parts I used to create this figure. This one was pretty much a rather simple figure as far as parts go, not a whole lot of things to add on. I used basically a Captain Rex body for the body, and the helmet comes from one of the figures in the Hidden Enemy DVD pack. I don't care too much for the sculpt on the Rex helmet. It's outdated, it's too small. I've said that before, so I've switched it out with the more updated sculpt of the helmet to make my custom look as good as I possibly can. The next thing I'll talk about is the paints that I used. This color that you see on Commander Fil, is a mix that I mixed by hand. It's a blood red Citadel color with just a tiny bit of black mixed into it. That's how I mixed the color. Because if you see the clones that are on Vasek with Nadar Veb, they have this sort of same kind of color that the Coruscant Guard has, and it's kind of like a dark blood red color, really kind of a pretty red color. I really like it, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this figure, because I enjoy the color on it. So obviously it's pretty simple. I'm not going to go over articulation or anything, because if you know Captain Rex, you know what the articulation is. So I painted the design, and I will take off his helmet, and I just gave him the Sergeant Slick head. They never showed what Commander Fil looked like, but I figured he'd probably have basically the standard looking clone, and I definitely like the high and tight haircut that Sergeant Slick has. I painted the blue on the pauldron, the gray, because that's what color he has. I'll give you a good close-up look there at his chest detail. Chest detail was pretty tough to get off. It took me probably about, I'd say about 30-40 minutes just working on that to get it right. The little teeny lines on his wrists and on his biceps here were a little bit of a trick to get, and also down around his ankles and the back of his calf here. All of that was pretty painstaking, and I had to repaint it several times before I got it right. One of the tricks that I do, if you're a customizer, or if you're thinking about getting into customizing, is one of the tricks that I do is for a line like this and on the wrists here and here, I actually take a pencil and just lightly draw them on first, because it works to sort of have a little guide to go by. I did draw the chest detail on as well beforehand, just to have something to guide me, so that I'm not kind of just freehanding it. These figures are way too small to do freehand work like that. It's just too hard. Last thing I want to talk about is I did add the tactical lamps here to Commander Fil. Basically all I did was I took some spare plastic rods that are in my fodder bin, tons and tons of stuff like that, and glued them on, and then painted them white. And I didn't paint them completely solid white. I let a little bit of the black plastic show through, because nothing looks solid white in the Clone Wars. And in fact, I plan on sealing Commander Fil, and then once I do that, I'll do my weathering trick to it, which I will probably be covering in another video later on. So that's going to do it for this video. So until next time, may the Force be with you. Bye-bye.